Thank you all very much. Thank you, David. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I have driven in the distant past the Commack Motor Inn, your fantasy getaway, at least according to their commercials, which used to run late night, like during David Letterman or something. But I never actually entered the Commack Motor Inn with or without Rosie O'Donnell. Often, and that was a wonderful introduction, but often when I'm brought to a microphone this way, the MC says, here's a person who needs no introduction. And you might think, after all these years, that might be true. And yet, if you hung around with me, you would see that over the course of time, you'd hear the following. Good to see you, Mr. Musburger. And I just say, hey, how you doing? Why should I slow things up? I'll be getting off a plane, pilot standing in the cockpit door. Thanks for flying with us, Marv. And I just say, yes, an enjoyable flight. Why confuse the issue? But the best, and this actually happened some years ago, I'm standing on a street corner in Manhattan, waiting for the light to change. And I see a guy coming toward me, and after a while, you get the sense of when someone is making a beeline for you. And he gets close, and he extends his hand, big smile, and he says, Bryant, I love you. And I looked at him and I said, you know, this is getting so old. I'm Greg Gumbel, not Bryant Gumbel. I know my brother is more famous than I am, but can't I get a little respect? And the guy, without breaking stride, says, oh, Greg, I love you too. So I'm not 100% sure I need no introduction. Just to put your minds at ease, it's tomorrow night's Astros-Red Sox game. I don't have to get there now. If I was supposed to be there tonight, I'd be awfully late for the game. But I do have to make the last shuttle out of LaGuardia, which is at 10 o'clock. So even though I would love to stay for the entire ceremony and to be on hand to congratulate all the winners personally and hear their remarks, I'll just have to extend my good wishes in a general way. It took me 2 hours and 45 minutes. I got in the car at 4 o'clock in Midtown Manhattan. It took me 2 hours and 45 minutes to get here. I will have been here an hour and 15 minutes. That's not such a great ratio, but I've enjoyed it, even though I've kind of done it on the run. When I think back to my years in Commack, and since this is, and on Long Island, and since this is a sports hall of fame, I'll confine it to sports memories. I came this close to making the Commack High School South baseball and basketball teams. Don DeMola, who is sitting right here, was the star of our baseball team and later went on to pitch in the major leagues for the Montreal Expos. And why he is not already in the Suffolk Sports Hall of Fame, I do not know. But consider this a nominating speech for Don. So, yeah, there you go. So, on my rather short list of sports highlights, I hit a double off of him in an intra-squad game before they cut me from the squad. And the coach was also a math teacher. You know the way that goes. So the coach was a math teacher named Chuck Orant. Charlie Chuck. I have the microphone here, Don. Sit. He had pitched in the minor leagues in the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. And so when it came time to pare the squad down for the final cut, and I had lasted to that point, he calls me in and he says, Costas, you're not bad with the glove, but I don't think you can hit your weight, and I don't think you weigh 130, which might have been true in high school. Then he says, let me ask you something. You ever think about broadcasting? Because you never stop talking. I said, yeah, that's pretty much all I think about. He said, good. Why don't you think about that and stop trying to help this team because you can't. I have to cut you. Well, he was prescient. You know, I mean, he sort of saw what might lay ahead for me, and it worked out all right. The basketball coach was Pete Ferenz, who had starred at Southampton College on Long Island. He was a social studies teacher. He was the basketball coach. I actually could shoot pretty well. The problem was I could not shoot if anyone was guarding me. I had to be standing alone. In tryouts for the team, we all had to shoot 100 free throws. Now, granted, this isn't in the heat of the game. Someone's rebounding for you. You're in rhythm. I made 91 out of 100 free throws. Another on my short list of sports highlights. When Ferenz cut me, he said, we cannot run an offense that features a triple screen just so you can get your shot off. So I have to cut you, even though I'd like to keep you around for amusement purposes. So it's with that glorious sports history that somehow I now find myself being inducted into the Suffolk Sports Hall of Fame. So do you believe in miracles? In my case, I guess yes. But it brings back so many memories of my friends who I used to play wiffle ball with and stickball with and pick-up basketball with, and all the people whose names and faces flash through my mind, even though I don't cross paths with them all that much anymore. It brings back so many happy memories of life in the 1960s and 70s on Long Island. And thank you for bringing me back, however briefly. I wish I could stay longer, but you'll understand.